Sup nerds? It's been 2 months since we made the every free-to-play display item in Fallout 76 video. On that video we didn't have a few of the things, which I did go after since then and have gotten my hands on them. Not only so, but we also sorta did get 2 new display items from the August 13, 2024 update. So I figured this time, let's update this thing. As per usual, if you have watched the previous video, you can use the timestamp to skip to the new stuff. Otherwise, put your nerdy pants on and let's go! Just some basic info first, every display will display stuff that you have in your stash. So the stuff that you do want to show off will take up space in your stash and you won't be able to use them while they're being displayed. Starting out with the regular displays in which you can just show off whatever junk item you have, the generic display short is known by default, so you can build them right off from the start. Display some rare junks for all your friends to be jealous of. The generic display tall 1 is also known by default, and this one is taller than the previous one. You can display some bigger stuff and you can see better because the glass is practically invisible. The generic display tall 2, also known by default, is similar to the previous one, but there's a wooden backdrop here and the glass is visible. Then, there's the weapon racks, also known by default. These go on the walls and you can show off your 4th, 5th, or even 6th favorite weapon, because of course, you're most likely carrying your 3 most favorite ones with you all the time. The heavy weapon stand, also known by default, is a stand that goes on the floor instead of the walls that you can show off bigger weapons on. Still amongst things you know by default, there are 2 kinds of magazine racks. One is the steel magazine display, which is one of those spinning ones that you see in gas stations. Pretty cool to have one of these if you're going for a store kind of aesthetic. The second magazine rack is a wooden one, also known by default, and this one goes for more like a comic shop aesthetic. Then, the last known by default display is the Bobbleheads one, and you can show all the different bobbleheads you have collected during your travels through Appalachia. On to learnable ones now. From the Mothman Equinox seasonal event, we can get 2 displays. Kinda. They're both the same size, pretty small in my opinion, and they do display the same thing, moths. But one is for the wall, while the other is for the floor. And these are 2 separate plans. But I do like the moths quite a bit. It would have been cool if the display was a lot bigger and they added more moths in the future updates, sorta like they did with the Herdsman bell display. But alas, there's only space for 6, and they only added 6. Of course, I'm still missing one as you can see here, but you get the idea. The Herdsman bell display can be acquired from the Fastnacht, and you also display the bells, of which the plans you also get from Fastnacht. In our previous video, I didn't have the 1 bell plan that they had back then, but since then, more bell plans were added to the Fastnacht, and I was able to get my hands on a few of them. Now onto a more interesting one, from Grom's Meat Cook, you can have a chance to get the Megalonyx Display, which is huge, and you do need to get each part of the fossil to display. I was able to get all of them thankfully, but one bad side is that these things are heavy. They will take a lot of space in your stash, so for a lot of the collectors out there, this may not be worth it. But if you would like one of this, but you didn't get it from Grounds Mid-Cook, I think someone who knows these plants can build them for you at your base. But also, the first time you do either Grounds Mid-Cook or Fastnacht event, you will guaranteed get a plan for the Beer Stein display, where you can display beer steins that you get from different events, scoreboard and seasons. Speaking of beer steins, the Robot Beer Stein display is acquired from the Test Your Metal public event, and this is also one that I didn't have last time. But here we are, and it looks great. I love robots. Now going to Samuel in Foundation, for 1,250 gold bullions you can buy the plans for the Cryptid card display, which used to be a scoreboard thing, but now anyone can get it. And what do you display here? Well, Pokemon cards of course. From the public events, Safe and Sound and Beast of Burden, you will always get one random Cryptid card. Collect them all and display them in this thing here. Neat! At Samuel in Foundation again, you can also buy the Jewelry Stand Flair display, also for 1,250 gold bullion. This was also a scoreboard thing if I remember correctly, and here you can display all of your backpack flares. Of course, to display them here, you do have to craft them at the Tinkerer's bench instead of the Armor bench, so that it does become a miscellaneous item instead of a mod for your backpack. Then just stash the miscellaneous item into your stash and display them here. Pretty neat. Anyway, that is every free-to-play display item in Fallout 76 right now, I think. I'm 92% certain. But if you think I missed something, please let me know. Out-nerd me, I want to make bigger, better nerds. Come on, let's nerd out, together. Anyway, leave a like if you enjoyed this video, subscribe to see more collection videos like this, and as per usual, always nerd on.